Welcome back to Rider 19.1 guys, and today we're going to be talking about lowering the suspension on your Benelli TRK 702x or any other bike, because having worked as a mechanic in a workshop, I've lowered the suspension of quite a few bikes and I know the procedure and how it's done. And in case you don't, well then this video is for you, so keep watching. Five things that you need to know when you lower your suspension. The first thing is obviously lowering the rear suspension, which is done by changing a certain part inside the suspension itself, which needs to be done by a qualified workshop and by qualified mechanics. Now, the second thing that people don't realize is that they have to also equally lower the front suspension to keep the bike in a straight line and to keep it balanced. So you have to not only lower the rear suspension, but you also lower the front suspension by about 15 to 20 millimeters, depending on how much the bike has been lowered, depending on the plate that you've put in the bike. Now, the third thing you need to do is to modify the side stand. When you modify the side stand, it has to be cut and then re-welded so that the bike has a lean angle which is proportionate to the amount that the bike has been lowered. So I'd like to demonstrate this using the Tiger with electronic suspension and show you how the lean angle changes as soon as you start to lower the suspension. So let's lower the suspension by holding the home button here, and as you can see on the dash, the bike has now started to lower itself, and as you can see, it's now straightened out. Let's raise the suspension again. You will also either need to adjust the main stand or completely delete the main stand. Now, the main stand may need to be deleted or completely removed, because once the bike is much lower to the ground, it's going to be really hard to put the bike on the main stand because it's now not at the right leverage to bring the bike onto the main stand. So as soon as you change or lower the front suspension and rear suspension, your side stand will no longer lean the bike to the correct height, and your main stand will no longer have the leverage to jack the bike up. Since we were on this experimental path for this bike, when we lowered the bike, we found that the main stand was just about 13 centimeters from the ground, which then scrapes the ground around corners and is dangerous. So that brings us to the last part, which is adjusting the chain after you've lowered the bike. That depends on the rider usually, which falls under chain maintenance and chain adjustment, slack adjustment. Let's get on with it. I'll show you how to take the suspension out and put it back. All right, let's go. Come on. That's a bit of a bitch. You bitch. Maybe we should sing Frozen. Let it go, let it go. Let the bolt out of the hole. Go. God. That didn't work.
Yeah, Chunky B doesn't like its parts being called a bitch.
Chunky B doesn't like Disney. That's the problem with this goddamn bike. And it's out. Woohoo! So guys, quick disclaimer here. This video has been in the making for quite some months now, because we were at the time working with a company wanting to do R&D for lowering the suspension of this particular model. Due to some challenges, we could not shoot this video in chronological order, and hence the part that you see in this shot is the experimental part being taken out for replacement, and we're reverting back to the original factory setting. The second half of the reinstall is refitting the original part back in the bike. If there's enough interest in this video, we'll shoot another video of the actual approved part and retesting what that feels like. Leave a comment below saying yes if you want us to get around to it. Fit in there.
Let's see how it feels on the road. Because the seat is lower, there's more pressure on the foot pegs. I can feel the vibration around the 4,000 RPM, way more. It was vibey around that range before, but with the lowered bike, of course, there's going to be more pressure on the foot pegs. And oh my god, I'm feeling the vibration more. Tino did all of that work with the suspension. I couldn't wait to sit on the bike and flat-foot it, but honestly, this seating position now is just not comfortable. Lots of pressure on the foot pegs because of all my weight and height, and yeah. See, I don't really want to lean much, having seen how low the main stand is to the ground, and I really think if you're gonna have your bike lowered, you're gonna have to delete the main stand.
So in conclusion, we have installed a prototype part in the bike which was only for testing and research and development. However, since we did that, it's been quite a few months, and now we have on the market available to us completely ready-made kits that are available for lowering the suspension on the bike. And everything that we have mentioned in this video still applies, but take it with a pinch of salt. For example, if you are a really short rider that needs the bike lowered, then all well and good, go ahead and lower the suspension. But if you're one of those riders that are kind of tall, like my wife is, who was able to flat foot the bike but was not really comfortable in the beginning as she was learning and she needed a bit more security, well then in that case I would say don't go ahead with the lowering of the bike, because it means a lot of modification. So what we noticed was the angle when you lower the bike, the angle when you sit on the bike between your hips and your ankle, that increases the pressure on the foot peg. And when that pressure increases on the foot peg, the vibrations are felt more. So that would be the main reason why we decided not to go ahead with the lowering of the suspension, because it increased that vibration so much that it became unbearable, and my wife was not happy to ride the bike anymore. So thank you guys for watching, and like and subscribe to the video. because we want to grow this channel. We've noticed that 90% of you that are watching are not subscribed, so a subscribe would really help us out. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great weekend. Ciao.